r/AskReddit by Reddit tells. What drug did you take once and thought nope, never again? Salvia. It's a very short trip, but I felt so much physical discomfort like my whole body was being shoved into a box despite the fact that I was sitting in the grass with a group of friends. Apparently it's not an uncommon side effect of the drug. I felt like my body was made of sand and the air conditioner unit behind me was blowing me away piece by piece. One of the scariest experiences of my life. Had a buddy who took it while I was trip sitting. He kept falling over and I'd prop him back up. Happened like 5 or 6 times. When he came to, he told me he thought he was pages in a book being flipped. I was a senior in high school when Hurricane Katrina hit. Our house got 6 feet of water, no fun. But one night my friends and I went to the gutted out house to smoke some marijuana out of a buddy's hookah. Buddy failed to inform us he had recently glued the bowl back together. Well, the crew lost composure. 2 people fell off the dock into the bayou, and everyone started panicking that they'd get hypothermia. Not gonna happen during Louisiana summer. So people leave. I drive a group to our next spot. My Pontiac's on fire as now spaceship. My buddy riding shotgun started cackling hysterically yelling about rattlesnakes in the road. We don't got those, and the 2 in the back were talking about magic or some shit. We couldn't make it to our destination due to freaking out, so went to hang out in a grocery store parking lot till we regained composure. 10/10ths would not smoke glue again. That reminds me, a kid in my HS band class used to breath through his trumpet for air. It's disgusting and you're not supposed to do it, and after a while he started to have seizures, and it was caused from long-term exposure to a chemical used to oil the valves. Topiramate, Topamax, a drug used to treat migraines and seizure disorders. I started developing a couple of the less common side effects, including facial numbness/tingling, visual disturbances, and most concerning to me, aphasia. The scariest thing about the aphasia is that it can be permanent. Sorry, but I'll deal with the headaches, which weren't even migraines, just a stress phase I was going through, and keep my words. Thanks. I have chronic migraines and get Botox for treatment now, but had to fail 3 other drugs including Topamax. It helped my headaches, but I felt like a fucking idiot because I couldn't form sentences and had horrible word recall. I also had crazy vertigo and almost fell over at my standing desk multiple times. No thanks. Luckily Botox is a lifesaver. Topiramate has just made me really dumb. My numerical recall and conversational skills are shite these days. I can't retain information short term anymore. I'm tapering off it because it's so ridiculous. Oxycontin. Shit was too relaxing and didn't last long. I had knee surgery and they gave it to me for the pain. I took it for a week, and when I wasn't on it, I really wanted more. After a week of it, I never wanted to touch that shit again. Same for me. I was prescribed some after a pretty painful oral surgery, and the first day back at work, don't worry, it was a desk job, no heavy machinery. The pain was so bad I gave in and took one. I remember zoning out at one point, looking at the clock on my computer, and realizing I had just sat at my desk staring at the screen for 2 hours, and my mouth still hurt like a bitch. I started with 30 pills and the other 29 sat in my cabinet for years, until I finally took them into one of those expired drug collection things at a local pharmacy. I was prescribed it after getting my wisdom teeth taken out. Took them twice, just to help with the pain, so I could sleep. I woke up multiple times, because it felt like I had stopped breathing from being too relaxed. Never touched them again. Not a drug, but I was told I needed to take a fiber supplement, and went with the fiber pills. Then I went to the emergency room, because I felt like I couldn't breathe within a few minutes of taking them. Fiber pills swell up easily with water, so they can end up feeling like they are sealing your throat. I now take fiber gummies, and actually enjoy having a little treat every day. This wholesome little gem in a comment section full of hardcore drugs. Go on with your fiber gummies, you. A fiber capsule also got stuck in my throat. It was huge and kept traveling back upwards towards my airway. Nothing is worse than feeling a fiber capsule expand in your throat as you worry it's going to choke you. For me, meth. I did it once under the presumption that it was cocaine. It was not. I had to go to the hospital. I mean, I probably didn't have to, but at the time, I had only smoked weed. I didn't know how to deal with the increased heart rate and paranoia. For my friend, Benadryl. He is a really hardcore tripper and can handle inhuman amounts of psychedelic substances. But he said that the one drug he would never do again was Benadryl. He said that his experience had lots of spiders. I'm quite the psychonaut. So when I heard DPH was a thing, I of course had to try it. I did it way too many times, but the worst, absolute worst time was the last time I did it. I was in and out of consciousness, and I was having such vivid dreams. I had been Snapchatting my ex-girlfriend. I'd wake up and we were talking at the time, but not about what I thought it was, so I'd answer in some delirious manner, fall back asleep and repeat. Eventually I started to sober down, and my entire house was spinning around me, and I couldn't move. Never again. Wait, Benadryl is psychoactive. Oh. Tetracycline. Turns out I'm allergic. Did Gob steal your doctor's notes? Fun fact, tetracycline antibiotics are one of the few drugs that are actually dangerous to take past their expectation date. Usually a drug's expectation date just indicate a loss of potency, but they are generally not unsafe to take. You just won't get the same strength, or might not have any effects at all. Not tetracycline. It literally becomes toxic. Edit. Autocorrect betrayed me. Obviously I meant expiration. Fuck it. I'm leaving it. Ambien. Woke up in my underwear on my neighbor's porch. My girlfriend was having trouble sleeping, and her doctor gave her a prescription for Ambien. First couple of nights, no problem. Then I wake up one night and find her in the kitchen. All the burners on the stove turned on full. Semi-lucid, she said she wanted to make soup. I managed to get her back into bed. 2 nights after that, I wake up to find her out in the garage, in the car, engine running, wearing just a pair of knickers. Said she needed to go to Albertsons because we didn't have peanut butter. She quit taking Ambien after that. I took one night, then took another and then another. I wasn't trying to abuse it, it just didn't put me to sleep. I trashed my house. I woke up at 11 the next day to my boss calling me. I was in the military at the time. He started chewing my ass and all I had to say was I took Ambien last night, and he said, okay, get in when you can. He knew how that shit fucked people up. I got a prescription of Ambien for insomnia. That scene from Wolf of Wall Street where he says he figured out that you get fucked up when you take it and don't fall asleep is extremely true. Very pleasant high. Even though I was by myself, I always felt like I was in a room surrounded by friends. Never did anything too gnarly other than send silly texts, but that was enough to make me want to stop. I did not like the fact that I was doing this with zero recollection. Reading my own texts the next morning was too stressful to be worth it, and I knew it was a matter of time before I landed myself in trouble with someone. Edit. I misremembered the scene, and it was actually about a different drug. However, I stand by my statement that taking Ambien and staying awake never fails to be interesting. Heroin. Too good. Knew it'd get its claws in me if I did it a second time. Some people say it's like a whole body orgasm. Is that true? Man, when I tried it I hated it. I had to remind myself to breathe and got really sick. Same thing with morphine. When I was in the hospital, just felt like shit and threw up constantly. For me it was coke. I'm a broke bitch, so after spending $80 for maybe an hour's worth of a high, I very quickly learned why it's called blow. You can blow through it and all your cash in a few days tops. Glad I got off that shit quick. Wilder ruined me. For me it wasn't about the money, it was because I immediately knew I would be addicted for life. That shit is fucking awesome, and that's the reason it was one and done for me. It's been almost 35 years, and I still remember that night like it was yesterday. Single-handedly the smartest decision I have ever made, and I was around people who continued to do it. Ketamine. The doctor said it was safer than propofol. Yes, the stuff that killed Michael Jackson, that he used it in the army many times and it just has minor side effects. He'd inject me with it. I'd go out like a light and not remember a thing. Well, what seemed like years later, I woke up from my near-death experience with lizard god people hovering over me mumbling some foreign language. I had fell from reality into a black hole. I traveled the cosmos of the universe, transcended the planes of time, and landed back on some alien world called Earth. A few hours later I realized I was in error and this doctor had taken me on a psychedelic trip of a lifetime. I got put to sleep as a not very religious person. I woke questioning my existence and God. Never again. Well, until I die. I was given ketamine to knock me out for dental surgery and I guess they didn't give me enough because I woke up halfway through, able to feel everything they were doing. The dentist looked like a giant crow pecking at my teeth. They noticed I was awake and gave me more, and when I finally woke up, I screamed the entire ride home and for 2 hours after. Just hysterical screaming. Meth. Did some once thinking it was coke. Spent 2 days strung out and horny as hell. Never again. It'll have a motherfucker watching Pornhub for 30 hours straight. So that's why so many people on Grindr do meth. Me too, except I wasn't horny. I got hella paranoid from not sleeping. Kept hallucinating that a static man was coming to get me. Fuck that shit. Guess that's what I get for thinking it was coke. Then my roommate proceeded to tell me she found it on the road between 2 parked cars. I wanted to kill her, but kicked her out instead. Haven't touched shit since then. Sucks getting drugs mixed up. Was going to have a threesome in a hot tub once. I had coke, and one of the girls had K anyway. I jumped out to grab drink from the kitchen and thought I'd rip a fat line while I was in there. Obviously I got things completely mixed up and did a Scarface size line of ketamine. Eventually they both came inside the house and found me unconscious in the fetal position. Never tried K before, and I'll never try it again. Benadryl. Took around 700 to 800 milligrams, like 25 or 30 pills, a while ago to trip. Not a good recreational drug. It's like how people who don't do drugs imagine acid to be like. I'd actually vividly see things and people that weren't there. I'd see people come in the room I was in and sit next to me on the couch and I'd start having a conversation with them, only to blink and have them disappear. I'd get up and start filling up a cup of water and bam, it'd be back on the couch, never having gotten up. I don't remember most of the night, but my friends said I was just in a complete different world. They had some funny stories from it though. Apparently at one point I pulled my pants down and just said "It's in my pants." Holy fucking shit, dude. That's a lot of Benadryl, and I mean a lot. If I remember right, you can trip on half of that or less. Jesus. Check her out next time. Surprised you didn't end up in the hospital or something. My ex took the similar dose of Benadryl when she was on about 5 hits of acid already. I later found out this is called nightmare tripping, and it should be noted that that is a reasonable name for the experience. Edit. Accidentally had nightmare flipping instead of tripping. Crack. It was too good. I get the hype. I smoked crack for one night and it was amazing. People ask me sometimes, and the only way to describe it is how it feels to chew 5 gum. The feeling the next morning was an unparalleled hell, much worse than after a night of regular blow. Never again. Crack is hands down my favorite drug. I love how it tastes. I love making it. Sometimes I smell something that smells just like it tastes, and I get an instant craving. But it is so destructive. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars gone in a night. Anytime I did it until I ran out of money. Haven't done it in about a decade and I never will again, but I wish I could. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. Smash that like button. Comment below with your own stories.